What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Dodge 99. I just had me a good idea. It's been a while since I've made a video. So, one of the reasons for that is because very shortly ago, I just got done moving. So, a lot of life change. But I had a really good idea for video because I've been meaning to do this for a while. And I think the last video that I made, I think I was talking about possibly getting out and shooting, and I will do that eventually. But for right now, the subject of mind is this right here. 41 Magnum. Now, there's a lot so open this up here. There's nothing like big bore, and you really need two hands to do this. Alright, here's that big beautiful thing. Now, I am not going to go into the history and all the stuff of 41 Magnum and how it come about and all this jazz and all this other stuff that everybody on YouTube has covered over and over and over, and that's great, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that people have done that. They've been doing it for several years, and that's all good and graceful and whatnot. But to me, that kind of is a little bit unbeneficial because it kind of makes the thing look like it's some sort of extremely rare unicorn. And don't get me wrong, 41 Magnum is not exactly a mainstay typical run across cartridge. But it should be, because this right here absolutely is a beautiful, wonderful cartridge. And it is underrated so bad it's sickening. And it's a crying shame. It really is. This cartridge should be so popular that it should be a mainstay. You should be able to find this in every store. Every manufacturer should be making loads for it. There ought to be bullets of everything imaginable galore available, which there is. But, you know, over the years, companies have picked them up and dropped them, and they'll run them for a while, and then they'll drop them, and then they'll bring them back. It's just, you know, it depends on how the market is, because I guess to be straight, this is the most out of the three original Magnums. This is one of the three original Magnum handgun rounds. And they say third time's the charm. Well, it really is. This is the third of the originals following the introduction of the 357 Magnum in 1935, the 44 Magnum, which come out in 1955, and then this beautiful baby that come out in 1964. So this is the newest of the original three, and this is the aftermath of the first two, and to me, this is the perfected Magnum, because this cartridge is about as close to perfect in a big bore, high powered handgun round as you can possibly get. To me, it's almost the perfect cartridge. And it's just, again, it is criminally underrated. It's almost sickening how people, I mean, it's insane. You go to gun stores and employees and you talk to people out and about, and in my experience in talking as far as word of mouth to 41 Magnum, it usually goes one of two ways. Either they haven't heard of it, or they don't really know nothing about it except for to tell you, oh, yeah, we don't ever get that in there. It's too hard to find. It's too rare. And that's a little stupid. I mean, yes, it's not common and easy to find in just every store you go. Now, as far as where I'm at, my local stores, I reliably have, there's about five, oh, excuse me, there's about 5 gun shops in town, and I have 2 at this current time that keep 41 Magnum at all times in different loadings. And I mean, they have a lot of it. They don't just have like 1 box or 2 boxes. I mean, they've got like 15 boxes. They keep it in stock. Good and reliable. And up until a couple years ago, there was one of those shops that no longer care, but they used to. And they kind of changed hands and what have you. Anyway, 41 Magnum, to me, is the perfected Magnum from the original 3. 357 Magnum, it's just awesome. It's a really good round. It's a medium, technically a medium bore round. It's 3.57 diameter. It's great. It's fast. There's nothing bad that you can say about 357, except some people complain that it's very sharp recoil, and it is, because it's a zippy little cartridge. You got that snappy recoil, but it ain't just to the 357. But as far as, like, again, perfected, again, it's a medium bore, but if you're talking about, handguns, which are significantly weaker than your full-size rifle cartridges, still yet, it can be a little on the small side for certain applications. I'm not saying it's little, I'm not saying it's weak, I'm just saying that it could be a little bigger in a lot of instances. Okay, then you have jump up 44 Magnum. 44 Magnum is a good round, and it is powerful, and it is bigger. You've got a good big bore diameter. But there's a couple things that 44 Magnum suffers from, and one of which is somehow 50 years later, they are overrated, in my opinion. And there's a decent amount of people that agree with me. 44 Magnum is one of the most overrated cartridges there is. Now, that being said, I like the cartridge. I've loved shooting 44 Magnum. I do love shooting 44 Magnum. I'm not saying I don't like 44 Magnum, but there's a few things that 44 Magnum has going against it, in my opinion. One of which is, it ain't even what it says it is. 44 Mag is not a true 44 caliber. 44 Mags are based and come from the old 44 Smith & Wesson Special cartridge, which is a 429 430 diameter. So technically, it's actually a 42 or a skimpy 43 caliber. Okay, so it's not even a true 44. That was literally just a marketing gimmick is all that was. And again, that's not degrading the cartridge. That's fine, but it's just a name. It's no different than, you know, the way the car manufacturers used to name engines, and they'd throw off some random cubic inch size, and in reality it is nowhere near that. It's just a name. Whatever, but that's just marketing. Second of all is, because I know a lot of people get absolutely tore up about this. For example, 10 millimeter. There's a lot of people now. It's 2026. There's a lot of people now that whine and complain about, well, these factories don't load 10 millimeter to where it should be. It doesn't have its full potential. Well, no joke. They do that with everything, including this cartridge. This cartridge right here is loaded to the original specs, which is 210 grains at 1,300 feet a second from roughly a 6-inch barrel. That's the original loading for the cartridge. Well, there's a lot of 41 Magnum rounds that you purchase that are significantly below that. Because, you know, you could sit here and say, well, if you're shooting anything and it's 100 or more feet per second slower than what it's supposed to be or advertised, yeah, I get it, you got a weak low, but people, seems like right now the thing, especially at least with handguns, is 10 millimeter. That's a big subject. Oh, they're weak 10 millimeter. That's pathetic. That ain't 10 millimeter. That's 40 Smith. Crap like that. Well, 44 Magnum suffers from the same thing. There's a lot of 44 mag loads that are pitifully weak compared to what they should be. And 44 mag, it suffers from, there's a lot of ammo available for it, but there's a lot of it that ain't worth the crap. It's just basic ammo, nothing special, and then it's extremely expensive. And one of the expenses of it is not just the extra materials it takes to make the things, it's a hype. Again, oh, it's a 44 Magnum, so they charge you a little more for it, which is stupid. Okay, and not that this is really any better. If you can see that price tag, I give too much for this. But I was out of town and I seen it and I grabbed it up because, you know, a quickie right here. At this current time, Remington is the only one right now. If you have a 41 Magnum, again, it's 2026, it's January. At this current time, Remington is the only one loading soft points for 41 Magnum. And when I say loading, is these HTP rounds that you buy in the box. Now again, I paid too much for these. You can get these cheaper. You can order these cheaper. I do happen to have some old, I have some older rounds here for this gun. Like, here's some old Winchester rounds. These old Super X jobs. And that's a good looking soft point. I'll get one out here for you. And again, they're old, you know, so I mean you look at them, you can tell they're old. And that's a Winchester soft point. But at this current time, Remington, if you like soft points, to me, I hunt with mine, and I prefer soft points to hunt with. To me, they're a better option than hollow points in most cases, because you get your penetration and you do get some expansion. But in a handgun, obviously, the penetration is more important. and I've always had good luck with them, which I like soft point in my rifles too. I've always had good luck with them. That's my favorite hunting round. So, again, I seen these and I grabbed them up, but blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the 44 also is, to me, suffers from, again, hype. Overrated, blah, 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 and the niche Hollywood. I love Clint Eastwood. He's one of my favorite actors, and Dirty Harry was a doggone good movie series. They had like 5 of them. But he made the Model 29 Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum, literally made it a piece of gold over the weekend of opening that. For nothing more from, it's the most powerful handgun in the world. And at the time, it was the most powerful commercially available handgun cartridge. It wasn't the most, but as far as what you could buy off the shelf at the time in 1971, it was. But it's kind of like the situation now with 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, which is the most powerful production handgun in the world. It's not the most powerful, but it's the most powerful you're going to buy off store shelf. So, and the thing is if you know people, or if you're old enough you was there, I've had people in my family, I have personally experienced this. 44 Magnum, everybody knows the name, everybody knows the gun, everybody knows it's associated with ultra power, all this. They buy one, they think they got the coolest thing on earth, they shoot it, and they hate it, or they can't handle the recoil, or it's not what they want, and they'll either sell it or they'll put it away and never use it again. I have personal experience with that. My cousin bought a small, I want to say it was a 2.5, 3-inch gun, somewhere like that. Ruger. Red Hawk double action. Oh, this is going to be my no carry gun. All right, cool, man. Beautiful gun. 44 mag. That's awesome. Well, he buys just, you think, well, he's just got some regular ammo. No, he goes out and he buys this like over the top crazy like bear defense ammo, some sort of big non-expanding hard cast bullets that's moving like unearthly fast, like 1,500 feet a second or more. And you shoot the thing, and don't get me wrong, it would wallop you, it would kick your hind end. Well, he was not used to that. He probably wasn't even used to shooting a 380. And it was more than what he wanted. So he bought a gun that he's not going to use. And to be truthful, I don't know if he still has that gun. And I know a couple other people that have done the same thing. And that's typical because, again, it's amazing what Hollywood does for a product. It's absolutely amazing. It's like the 69 Charger. Nobody wanted a 69 Charger until the Dukes of Hazzard made it cool. And then they used it in countless movies. To me, that's not fair because the car was awesome before it got recognized, but the general public didn't know that. To me, that's unfair. And that's the same thing with 44 Magnum. To me, it's not right that it's as popular as it is just because it was used in a daggone movie. It is a good cartridge. It is capable. But it doesn't deserve the reputation that it has. Now, back to the 41 Magnum again. In my mind, this is the perfected cartridge coming from the other two. Because Elmer Keith was not solely, but pretty much directly involved with the first two, and he was involved with this one. Now, on this case, in the other hand, he actually didn't get really what he wanted at the get-go. But later on, he come to find that he actually liked this cartridge better than he did the 44 mag, which was supposed to be his golden child. because nobody really knows this or advertises this, but Elmer Keith, once this cartridge has come out and he was gifted, or I know he had a Ruger. At one time, he had a Ruger Blackhawk in 41, and I believe he had the old Model 57 in 41, this and that and other. And he loved the cartridge. He actually found he liked it better for hunting and shooting than he did the 44. Which leads me to another little bit on 41 mag. Excuse me, I had to pause and take care of something. 41 Magnum really, and it is, but it ain't. People place it in between the 357 and the 44, which it is, but here's the thing. Obviously, by the numbers, like the 44, it's a big bore. The 357 is not. So it's obviously closer to the 44, right? Correct, but here's the thing. It's a lot closer, the 244, than what people give it credit for. A lot. Because again, 44 is not a true 44. It's a 429. So this is only 19 thousandths smaller. That ain't a lot. They operate at the same pressure, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe is 36,000 psi. I believe, Sammy. I think I'm right. That's just off the top of my head. But I know for a fact they operate under the same pressure. And man, I'm telling you, they are very close. When you use the same powders, you start using the same bullet weights, because you can get the same bullet weights in 44 as you can in 41 in a lot of cases. Now, they only go up so high. As far as I know, the heaviest bullet that you can get or cast for 41 is 300. And that's like really hard to find. But they do made it, blah, blah. It's just a little hard to find. Right now, they do make a 293, which is pretty dang close to the 3. I mean, obviously there wouldn't be that big of a difference if you couldn't find the 300s. But 293... 265s, 250s, 240s, 230s, 220s, 225s, 210 is standard grain, and that's most of what you're going to see and find. 200 grains, they got 190 grains in the Hornady ballistic tips. I believe that's an exclusive for them. I don't think there's any other 190s in there. I think this is the Hornady thing. 180s and 175, 170s, and then the screwdriver bits, the solid copper rounds, they make a 150 grain. And to my knowledge, that's the lightest you're going to see in a 41 cal. Something else special to the 41 is it's not just a true 41 caliber, true and blue, but it's also, this cartridge was not derived from anything. This was clean slate. 357 and 44 mag both were modified versions of another cartridge. 41 Magnum is unique. It's its own cartridge. Now, originally, they had two loads. They had the 41 Magnum load, which is this right here. This is literally the rendition of the original loading. 210 grains, 1,300 feet a second. Some say 1,400 feet a second. You know, whatever powder you're using, close enough. And then they had a police load, because 41, the whole project of the 41 was to use as a police round. And quite frankly, that is the ultimate police load that's ever been made and offered to the service. It didn't last long enough. And that would have been, I believe, a 200 grain moving around 950, I believe. More or less what we would see as a special round. And nowadays, you do have 41 special. Back in the day, it was a Wildcat cartridge. You either had to cut the brass and do it yourself. Now you can buy the brass, and you can even buy it commercially loaded. There are manufacturers that are making 41 special now. So when people tell you that, well, 41 Magnum doesn't have a counterpart, well, it does now. There is a 41 special, and it works the same way as 38 and 357 and 44 special mag. Same thing. And it's beautiful. But the benefits that 41 gives you over the 44 is you have a flatter trajectory, so it shoots flatter no matter what distance it is. It's going to shoot flatter, so that's an advantage if you hunt or if you do long range target shooting. They are very inherently accurate. They are stupid accurate. There's only been so many guns that have chambered the cartridge over the years, and there's limited available as we speak. As far as I know right now, the only production firearms that are chambering 41 mag is Smith & Wesson, because you can still get the Model 57 in the Classic series. Ruger is still chambering it in their new model Blackhawks. I believe they discontinued it in the Redhawks, which is a shame. I think Tourists dropped their line. I don't believe they're making it. And then there are a few odd and end different revolver makers that are chambered in, I believe. And then Henry makes their big boy lever guns in 41 mag, which I have one. I'll do that in another video sometime. I'll show you. 41 mag has benefits of, now I'm going to say lighter recoil. Now here's the thing, in its standard loading, this load right here will recoil a little less than a standard 44 mag round, which would be 240 grains moving about 1275, 1250. That's usually what most of them run. That's about what you're going to find. This will recoil a little less, and honestly, the reason why it's recoiling a little bit less is because it has a little bit less weight. That's the only reason, because here's the thing. This is a faster cartridge on a majority scale. When you hot rod these things to the very tippy top and you match bullet weights, since you do have just a tweeb, and I mean just a tweeb more case capacity on the 44, you can bypass this just a little bit, but honestly, it's negligible at best. It's not enough of a difference to make a difference. On a majority scale, this is a faster cartridge than 44 mag all day long. Again, right here, 210 at 1300 feet a second. That's just this load. This is a standard load. Now, most of your loads now, like say you get Hornady's load, Buffalo Boar's load, Underwood's load, they're over 1500 feet per second, and that's mainstay. This is not as common as you're going to find those, and most of the 41 mag ammo you see is going to be hollow points, which is good, because I mean that's a good all-arounder. And most of the time, again, until you really start getting into hot rod territory, 41 Magnum is a faster cartridge than 44. Almost always. And then again, even when you really start hot rodding it, man, I'm telling you, 41 Magnum, I'm not going to stand here and say that it's more powerful than the 44 mag, because technically it's not. But in most of your cases, it is faster. And in my mind, and again, I've owned both, I've shoot both. 41 Magnum, as far as power wise, is equal to 44 Magnum. I'm not going to say it's more powerful than 44 Magnum, because there are instances that it's not, but it is equal to the 44 mag. There is nothing that you can do with the 44 that you can't do with this. And to me, this does it better. Because again, it's faster, the trajectory's better, the accuracy is superb, and most of the time, it's got just a hair less recoil. Not a lot. I mean, when I say that, don't get me wrong. If you shoot a 41 that recoils light, you're not shooting the real stuff. You're shooting low loads. You really shouldn't be able to tell the difference between a 41 and 44 as far as recoil. Just a little bit. And again, all it is just the accountants of weight. A 210 to a 240 per se, you're looking at 20 grains lighter, man. Just 20 grains. There ain't that big of a difference. But 41 Magnum is absolutely fantastic as a cartridge, and it is so capable. And it is literally good for everything that you want a handgun to do. It's an awesome hunting round. It is an awesome self-defense round. It could be a more awesome self-defense round. Don't get me wrong, they make some really good loads that fit perfect for threats of two legs. Fantastic, but it would be cool to see more development on it, because there's a lot of potential there, because it's a nice big bore cartridge. And again, they make projectiles of all different sorts and types. Soft points, hollow points being your most common. They make the screwdriver solid coppers. Hard cast is very common. Semi-keys, flat nose, whatever you got. They make solid copper rounds for these. There's nothing you can't get in these bad boys. And then a Hornady, the ballistic tips, if you into that kind of thing. They're so capable and they are so awesome. It's just, they're not as common as they should be. And I will say this, because I know there's a lot of people that just have the attitude, well, there's no reason for me to have a 41 because I can have a 44 that's more, or I already have a 44. There's no reason for me to even think about a 41. And I will say, don't box your mind into that, because you don't know what you're missing. You do not know what you're missing. Because from what I see, there's a lot of 44 people that have no experience with 41, yet they refuse to try it or even talk it down, and they've never even pulled the trigger with one. But now there's a lot of 41 mag fans and users and believers that are previous 44 mag users and or owners. They own both. And I have yet to see anybody that had a 41 Magnum and a 44 and he chucked the 41. I have yet to see it. I'm sure somebody's out there, but it's an awesome round, man. And if you don't have experience with it, I urge you, go out and buy one. Find somebody that has one. Hey, man, can I shoot your gun? Try it, because I'm telling you, it's a great experience. And to me, this is the best all-around basic Magnum handgun round. It's just so awesome, and I would love to see it get a little more popular than it is, because there's a lot of really good cartridges that have been introduced over the years, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. They get overshadowed by things that, not that they're bad, but they don't deserve the reputation they have. Again, it's more hype and marketing than anything, and that ain't right. .41 Magnum is just one of those rounds. And again, if you're into powerful handguns, if you're into magnums, you love revolvers, anything like that, or you just like something different, you like something odd, you're just like, hey, I'd like to have something different from everybody, but I still want it to be good and very capable. Jack, this one's for you. This is an awesome cartridge. It'll do anything you want it to do. If you want to hunt, there you go. You want to pack it for defense, there you go. If you want a home defense, there you go. And even dangerous game. Again, there's nothing 44 can do that this can't. This can do anything the 44 mag can do. And in a lot of ways, it does it better. If you are going in dangerous game country, whether it be the North Woods or, you know, I would assume that there are certain countries in Africa that allow calibers of such to be packed in handguns for personal protection against dangerous game. I know bigger is better, I get that, and I know they want as much power as they can, but hey, a 250, 265, or even them big 293s, like I mentioned earlier, dude, these things penetrate like 30 plus inches. There is no lack of performance in this cartridge. This cartridge will do anything you need it to do. This will drop a bear easy. This will drop a big cat easy, no problem. This will take any big game in North America for sure, and Canada for sure. There is no arguing that. This will take any big game in North America and Canada, and I am sure that it would take a lot of game in Africa. Not all, obviously. But this is an awesome cartridge. And that's just something I had on my mind because I love the 41 Magnum, and I'm very glad that I found it and researched it and did some digging and found people with experience, because I went for a while that I didn't know what it was either. And when I found it, again, it's just like, oh, I don't know about this. This is cool. This is something different, Again, be optimistic. I like new things and researching new things. You think, well, this is cool. This is different. I don't know about this. And you get into it, and then sometimes, it's a bust. Like 45 gap. To me, 45 gap is, it's not a bad cartridge, but to me, it's just like, it's a little on the disappointing side because it could have been a whole lot more. But this cartridge is not like that. This cartridge it fills a lot of check boxes, and it is very enjoyable, and it's very satisfying, very pleasing round. So that's what I had on my mind. Check them out, look them up, do some research. It has a very cool history. Again, I'm not going to get into all that. I know it, but I'm not going to get into it because there's a lot of people that have already covered it. It seems like every 41 Magnum video you find, except for somebody, I'll do a shout out, Plowboy's Ghost channel. I love the channel. He's a big 41 Magnum guy. Love his stuff. Go check him out. Most of the stuff you find on 41 Magnum is literally just a big 10-minute video of just talking about how the cartridge came to be and how Clint Eastwood killed it with popularity and all this stuff. It's the same old thing repeated and repeated. That's a lot of what you find. And that's fine. It's cool. Again, it's got a very fascinating history. Look it up. And I'll hush up and get off here and let y'all go. So, long live the 41 Magnum. Y'all have a good one.